test those informations. Your father can tell you, when we were growing up, they told us that the moment you go to school and graduate, there will be a job. Didn't they tell you that? That was what they made you to believe. And so you entered school and refused developing yourself. That's why you're giving us problem. So you refused developing yourself, and then you only came out with a certificate. And the moment you jumped out of school, you realized all of a sudden that certificate was nothing. And then you get into a dilemma and you are contradicting. What is going on here? It's because the information they gave you was for their generation, not for your generation. Are you following me up to this point? It's just remaining about 7 minutes. And then the challenge becomes you have prepared yourself for a life that does not exist. And then when you have find yourself in that place, you become confused. And oftentimes that is a problem. You know, when you were going to school, they told you that the moment you graduate with second class upper and first class, you are settled. Abi now you come out of school with a certificate, and from university you get into the senior applicant of Nigeria, SAN. So you have applying and there is no job anywhere, because we have prepared for a life that does not exist. They have told you before that you just need to be calm, follow things, take it easy. Gradually you will get there. You've been taking it gradually for the past 25 years, and there is nothing yet you have achieved, because they have told you something that does not exist. When you are going to school, your mother will tell you, make sure you concentrate, don't make friends, don't be very careful of bad friends and all that. And it cultured you that when you got into school, from your house to class, from class, it dealt with me. It dealt with me. From class to library, from library to school. And a time you would have used to build your structure. What do I mean by structure? Partnership. You used it on doing sole proprietorship. And when you came out of school, you found out that there were people in your class that you now need, but you can access because you're never friends with them. Why? They said, make sure what they give you should be enough. Don't even look at the left or the right. Then they will put a scripture that says they should be contented with what you have. And it doesn't matter the flash that is coming on your eye. You say, be contented, be contented, be contented. And then you are contented with poverty. You are contented with lack. You are contented with struggle. And you have stayed long in it for a very long time that you've gotten used to the life. Now, the moment someone is trying to pull you out of the poverty life to a life of prosperity is a problem. You now feel that there is something that is extraordinary. They made you to understand. That time my mother would say, when you are going to, you see all those people that they used to pack money in Ghana must go and in carton and come and give in school, you should not worry about them. That those people and your parents are not the same thing. You see, that even if it is 1.5 they give you, you should be contented with what? 1.5. In fact, avoid those people so that they don't corrupt you and make you begin to look for, have big eye. They say somebody have big eye. Big eye is that they give you 1,000, you now say you need 5,000. That's big eye. So now you have been contented and you have been trained and sustained with harboring a little. In these little years of mine, I have come in contact with several persons, and I have seen people who are professionals in managing little. But the moment you want to stretch them, for them to begin to become that which is contained inside of them, they bulge out. Why? Because there is a reconstruction of their mentality. Their perception has been molded and structured in such a way that the only thing they understand is little. And then while you are growing up also, they gave you another lecture. Every girl now, if you don't have an iPhone, you are not the happening girl. Is it not? You need to have an iPhone 11, 13. Did you have 14? Oh, okay, they have 15. So iPhone 13, 14, and 15. Very soon now they'll bring Pro. And then they'll bring what? Pro Max. And if you are not carrying it, you are not the happening girl in town. If you don't have a married man that, let me not use the name that you people, but you know the name, right? That name. If you don't have that name in your phone book, you're not up to date. You don't wear the latest we've on, you're not up to date. And you don't put on the best clothes and wear the best costly shoes. And give me those bags name. Give me those bags name. Louis Vuitton, wear them. You know, you don't have those bags. You see, I know no one. You know, today I was in a counter to get some stores from a foreign account, and when we were in the line, you know the Yahoo boys now, their emblem, you know them. So I was feeling something. The boy was now trying to tell me what to feel. I looked at him. I told admin, this boy think we're in the same league. So you could, when he now opened his list, I looked at what he wanted to come and withdraw it, $50. So when you look at him, you see that the contradiction is the lecture that apart from this way, you're not going to make money. So every girl wants to belong. If you don't have a guy now that your guy, they drive car, he's a G and all that, wearing bling blings, you guys go to club, lick ice cream. Meanwhile, I have had relationship on their birthday. I bought them crackers biscuits and brought out one piece, divided into two, and we shared, because the Bible said there is love in what? Sharing. So we shared that one stick of biscuit and we are okay. Now you buy a girl that crackers biscuits as birthday gift. The Lord give you understanding. So that becomes a very big problem. Because your mother has prepared you for a life that does not exist. Your peers has prepared you for a life you cannot afford. And you are in between a life that does not exist and a life that you cannot afford. And then all that is left with you is to make a decision on the preparation that you want to get. Excuse me. Are we together? Okay. Now, when you get into that form, what do you do? That's why this message was prepared. I still have maybe 2 more minutes to give you this foundation, and then we'll begin to fly. And they have told you that you don't need to do all those things. Your friend calls you, do you have a date on Sunday? You say, no, I'm at home. Say, at home? Really? At home? Sunday evening. Why? Because Sunday is for what? Outing. And you begin to feel that what makes you a better person is bottles. And then at the end of the day, a spree of bundle of 200 naira. And then you are happy. And we do not have the people who understand what life is all about. And there is no foundational building. And it has lowered the test of the female. That thing is coming now. It's coming close. It's coming close. I can feel it. It has lowered the test board of single ladies. And they are no longer in search of what is above. They are only looking for what is acceptable and manageable. And you have been made to believe that there is no guy that has thoughts. There is no guy that has vision. There is no guy that has a plan for expansion. And all you are looking for is increase without expansion. A lot of us has gotten into shapes and figures of relationship that all you care about is increase without expansion. And at the end of the day, you are surcharged because you are locked up in a box that only the movement you can make is within the jurisdictions of the confinement of the walls of the container. And you are bombarding yourself with others without having a space of your own. You have been taught that you are a survivor, not a succeeder. And so every plan you are making is how you can survive and not how you can succeed. You have neglected partnership and you have rolled away anything that will make you involved. You have been taught that you can do it alone. And that is why when you get into a department, you don't have friends in the department. You cannot function as a team member. The moment they fix you into that team, the team will begin to have a problem, because all that is in your head is how to survive and not how to succeed. You are looking for means of surviving and not means for succeeding. And all they did, trying to train you up, they were patterning your thought pattern, because the thought pattern is what engineers your learning process. So when they taught you and they began to make you to learn some certain things in their learning, you began to prepare, because the perspective of your thoughts is flowing from a source called your learning strategies. When they were teaching you at home, they were teaching you how to think. No, they were not only teaching you how to survive, or they were teaching you, please, don't get me off from. Get me on the board, please, just the keyboard. I will tell you when I need you. When they were teaching you at home, wash plate, wash back of pot, you have so much wash back of pot that you can no longer deal without a pot that has to be washed at the back. And so even when there is an availability of gas, you still prefer charcoal. Because all your culturing has been that you need to understand that what you need to be doing is to wash the back of pot, because it's going to be dirty. And that thought pattern has affected everything you represent. Now you can no longer begin to think big. Why? Because there is an obstruction in your mind. Within the confinement of your mind, there is a lockup somewhere that every pot, the back of it must be washed. When they were sending you to school and you were no lunch box, it was only biscuit. Now you are also preparing to give your children the same thing you inherited from your parents. When they taught you, you would tell them, do you know that the things I went through and survived, you also have to go through them and survive? No. When they are going to school, all you give them is 15 naira and then they go. That was the same thing your father gave you. And when they talk, you say, don't even talk. In my own time, it was 10 naira. Because every learning pattern structures your thought pattern. Now you tell them you need a computer system to upgrade. 95% of Nigerians don't understand anything coding. You get the computer system, if it has passed Nollywood, Bibi Nigeria has finished. They are no longer there's nothing they can do with the system. They only watch a movie to enjoy the action times and the times of love involved in it. And that has to who you are. They did not tell you that you are a priest, you are a prophet, you are a king, you are a priesthood generation, you are a peculiar person. That form was never shown to you. All they showed you was that you're a servant, and you will always remain a servant. And whenever leadership position comes, you run away. No. Don't give me leadership position. No. I don't need the leadership position. I am a good follower. I'm child of God. Followers never make the news. Leaders make the news. I want you to hear me. When you are saying, I don't want the leadership position, I don't want the stress, it's too stressful, it's too demanding, I don't want to be seen on the screen, you are also saying, I don't want to impact my generation. Because all you have been taught is to be a follower, not a leader. And so any leadership position that comes, you shy away. I'm not qualified. I am not ready. I think I am not ready now. And you are running away from leadership, things that has the capacity to shape you. When you see bigger opportunities, you reside to the lower ground because you have become a man of the valley and never the man on the top of the mountains. That's not who you are. You are created for bigger things. But because they have taught you, why do we have problems today in our generation? We have a lot of followers, but few leaders. I can't be the choir director. No, I can't be the ushering director. No. Oh, no. Say, self pastor. No. That's not for people like me. We are followers. We are good followers. If I support you, you know that somebody is supporting you. But can you take the responsibility of the center stage and do something that is abnormal? No. You are used to the normal. And because they have told you that you are not good, you now have trust issues with yourself. You can't even trust yourself to stand on the crowd and perform. Because you have been taught to remain in the shadows. Can I tell you something? Many of us are specialists in what used to be needed and not what is needed. The problem is that you are a specialist in what used to be needed. Now it's not needed. And so you are struggling with yourself because the confinement of who you are, you have become acceptors and not correctors. Your leader in your department is not doing the thing that he or she is supposed to be doing. And you say, he's the leader. Let us accept it and take it the way it is. Let us manage it like that. Let it not be me. Because you have been taught that you need to be accepted, not corrected. And so you play the second fiddle. You have prayed for God to give you prosperity. And yet, you don't have any relationship with the principles of covenant finance. How will God do it? There is no moment of your sowing, and yet you are praying for harvest. Your barn is empty because there is nothing on the ground for you. Where are you banking the hours? I was speaking to someone over the phone this afternoon, and the person began to tell me a lot of experiences. And they say, here where we stay in this nation, not Nigeria, not even African country. So they don't pay you salary, they pay you the number of hours. He said, if someone like you comes here, in 1 year, you'll be a multi-millionaire. Because you don't rest. He said the number of hours, if you work 5 hours in a week, that's what they'll give you. If you work 150 hours, I say, hey, me? They should not even try me. They will just discover that their money for payment has finished. That is not working. You don't checkmate your working hours, and yet you are praying for God to increase. Where is the increase going to come from? No labor. If you work, it will work. You fold your hands in the morning, you through and fro. Through and fro. Where are you going? Through and fro. They call you by night. Do you have chance? Yes. Are you going anywhere? I'm not really busy. They call you by 11. You say, no, I don't have much thing doing. I'm free. Can we go? Yes. They call you by 12. Even 3 o'clock. Anytime they call you. Because you are walking through and fro, You are always empty and there is nothing on your timetable. Do you even have timetable? There is no target for the week. Nothing. You don't have a target for the week. How to improve yourself. There is no space for self-development. Self-waiting. You will stay on the mirror and use eye pencil. Eye pencil. Some of us are not eye pencil. Eye pencil. You got what for over 3 hours. You are making up with that coming up. Some men will go to the mirror. You are brushing your hairliner. You will brush your hair until all of them is flat. You now come and do like this, as if you are feeling anyone. I was looking at one boy for over 2 hours. Hairline. You've turned yourself to a hairstylist. A guy will dress up. Fashionista. A guy at 25, 26, 30 years, 35. No commensurate amount of money. The last debit they collected from him for the month was the last money in his account. And he's doing. No self-development for whatsoever. You don't have a self-target. You don't have a self-target. You get on phone, your WhatsApp, 8 hours, you're on WhatsApp. The moment a message is replying, piam, on my calendar, double good. No, can I, anytime you send it, I used to be online, no, I don't go offline. My data used to be on 24 hours. Just send the message anytime. And through, they send anytime you are replying. No time for self-development. They give you one job. You say you're a fashion designer. They brought material for you. You were in cotton. From cutting the cloth turned to pieces. They taught you, say it's the latest style. You can't handle projects. And nothing. They give you mic as a music minister. You mount the stage. After singing, people will regret ever coming to church. He doesn't touch you. As a servant of God, they tell you that somebody is dying. Can you pray? You say, somebody that is already dying. What's the need of praying? Just prepare for the burial. The Lord give you hope and build your confidence. That is a loss. Everybody has appointment with death. So it's the time for this person to die. Lack of power. You are never building for expansion. Your surname has turned to Obu. Whatever enters your hands dies. They give you a department, Obu. They give you an office, Obu. They give you a responsibility, Obu. Your name is now Obulaf. You are never building for expansion. No, you are not. $20 enters your hand. You remind yourself that, hey, it has been long ago. It has been long I ate pineapple. Nkonye riri kobo ala. years and years and years have gone by. I am not improving. Because there is no target for building for expansion. I'm going to show you something. That was the situation these three kings found themselves. There was a promise, but because they did not build for expansion, they came to a point where there was no more water in the compass for their host. The people that were following them was bankrupt of foods. They discovered they have run out of supply. And the place where they were, there was no water there. They found themselves in the wilderness. They found themselves in the desert. Can I ask you a question? What do you do when you are in the wilderness? There is no extra. No, there is no extra. There is no plan for tomorrow. Everything that comes in, from. There is no reserve anywhere. Latest hair. If they cut off your hair, the hair on your head is more costly than everything in your head. It would have been better they used it for ritual. It would have been more productive than your hair. There is nothing that keeps developing you. There is nothing that motivates you. There is nothing that pushes you. There is nothing that improves you. And you are waiting for a guy that has spent his life building himself to come and marry you. I pray may God never answer that your prayer. A girl that has detailed herself, planned her life. I was talking one day with the general attorney of the church. He began to tell me about a girl that was studying medicine in his school, Babcock. And I think the girl was coming to a place where they, you choose your specialty. And then he was asking the girl, what specialty? He said, no, that by this time next year, she should be knowing who she's going to marry. So whatever the person she's going to marry is doing is what is going to give her her specialty. I know you do not even understand what I said. How would you understand? How would you understand? I didn't expect you to understand. I just said my story myself. What are you going to specialize on? She said the person that she's going to marry is going to pattern. So the kind of job and the destiny of the person is what is going to determine her specialty. You in your third year, what am I even talking? You never had any structure for your life. The whole sense you would have used is attach and gum. There is no pattern. There was no time when you would say, okay, during the wilderness period, what do I do? How do I pass the desert period? The time where there will not be water, there will not be food. Am I going to die? No. Because the moment you meet the peak of dryness, it's an indication you are closer to rainfall. As when sometimes even you won't even have 15 naira in your pocket. That's the significance that you are closer to the peak of rainfall. But you never got prepared for those moments. Partnership. What are they talking about? Partnership. Get into partnership. You say no. And then you will found out to be someone who can be trusted. Listen. There will be a point in your life when who you know counts. There will be. That point in your life is when you will know that you have wasted your time here on earth. They found themselves. There was no water anywhere. They were stranded. And they said, okay, let's go and hand ourselves over to the Moabites. There is no need going to fight. We don't even have water. There is no food for our armies. So we are stagnated. We are strangled. We are in a position. We are in a box. We can't move beyond the place where we are in. So there is no point going to the war front. Let's go and submit ourselves. And then someone said, wait. A question was asked, is there not prophet? Because for every time that is lack, whenever you meet the prophet, you meet the prophet. And so he asked the question, is there anybody here? And then Jehoshaphat, who is the king, now said to the king of Edom, let's go. There is someone by the name Elisha. Let's go to Elisha. He knows what to do at this moment. And then Jehoshaphat said, the word of the Lord is with him. Pastor, director, if your member comes to you, tell pastor and says, man, sir, I have a problem. Can the person go home with the word of the Lord from him? They said, give me 3:11. 2 Kings chapter 3 verse 11. I will show you something. He said, but Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, here is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, which poured water. The testament of the guy was that he was being proven in service. He has served his way to the top. I told us that without being a servant, you can't get to the top. He said there is someone, is a servant that is answered. He said he has poured water in Elisha and he understands the pattern of Elijah. The Elijah spirit resides upon him. He understands how to inquire of the Lord. In the time of difficulty, it is a guy to meet. This guy has the word of God inside of him. Let us look for him. But before we go, let us conduct a verification process. Where did he serve? Who is his spiritual father? What can his spiritual father say about him? When we take out his spiritual father and we ask him, sir, this your son, can you give us a testament about him? What will his spiritual father say? Before we go to him, let us not go and waste time, because we need a lot of energy from here to his house. Let us not go to his house and come back empty. Let us not go to his church and come back empty. He said, this one poured water in the hands of Elijah. He served well. The testament of his boss is that this one can be trusted. It doesn't matter how difficult the assignment is. If that assignment gets into his hand, he would die trying to prove it wrong. If you put the assignment on, no matter how tedious, no matter how challenging, you see this one, he will rather die than not produce a result. He passed with Elijah in Gilgal. He was there in Jericho. He passed through the waters of Jordan with him. That is not test. He has not passed. Put him under the scope. He will survive. You see, this one is a die-hard. He did not get what he has by sleeping on the couch. There were days he had to be outside on the desert to make sure that which belongs to his boss, he got it. He said he poured water. Oh, give me another translation. Holy Ghost, help me here. This guy knows how to learn. He studies the actions of his father. He studies the words of his father. He listens and hearkens to his ordinations. He keeps his statue. He said, there is one Elijah's right hand man. He is Elijah's right hand. There is nothing Elijah knows that he does not tell this one. Whenever there is a spiritual encounter, This is the guy that Elijah calls and said, that is a spiritual encounter I have. Can you carry the word? He said, Baba, give it to me. He called him the right hand man. Anytime Elijah is trouble, the first to understand the troubles of Elijah is Elisha. Whenever Elijah is in need, the first person to bring what he's looking for is Elisha. Whenever there is money needed, the first person to respond is Elisha. Whenever he is crying, the first person to see his tears is Elisha. He said, this one knows how to break Jordan. This one has passed through Jericho. The kingdoms of Israel did not stop him. The ones of life did not stop him. He was focused on his friend. He was focused on his brother. I remember that my spiritual great grandfather, when he was growing in ministry, God said to him, go to Benin. Your school of ministry is a man by the name Archbishop Benson Idahosa. Don't study anything, study him. Don't study books, study his life. And so when he met Papa Benson Dahosa, he said, where are you coming from? He said, my name is Bishop Duncan Williams. He said, Duncan, what are you doing here? Go and register. He said, no. God sent me to you. Ask him. Men who has read their spiritual fathers as books, that knows the beatings of his heart and would die bringing it up. That is what David said. He said, is this not the blood of my men? He poured it as a libation and said, if I take this water, I have drunk my people's blood. The ground will hear the voice of sacrifice. Pow! He poured it on the floor. He said, you cannot go to the garrison of the Philistines and get water and expect me to drink. There are some labors that the mortals responds to. That was the stage this guy. He said he's the guy's right hand man. If you get Elisha, Elijah will respond. When kidnappers kidnapped Reverend Tiantin, it was Papa Neche that called the phone call and said, release my son, or else you will see me. There was something about the guy. One of the days my father said to me, he said, if my properties are burning out of my children, is you I will send to go and bring it. I said, why me? He said, I know you won't die there. When I was in the heat of this ministry suffering, I called my dad one day. He said, I know you won't die. You will always find a way. That has, whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but he never gives me money. Because he will tell me, I know you. He will always find a way. He's the right hand man. Right hand man. The guy that knows how to do the thing. In the down times of Papa Benny Hinn was returning from crusade. Okay, they were about going for a crusade. On their way, they on the radio, and the radio was it was somebody online somehow talking about Papa Benny Hinn, his witchcraft, his blah blah blah. And Papa Benny Hinn began to cry and said, "If this thing is on the line and we are heading to the crusade, then what am I going to preach? Turn the vehicle." The keyboardist said, "Sir, we are not turning this vehicle. We are not." He said, "Why?" He said, "We know the God you serve, and that is why we followed you. We love the God that you love. We are going to that crusade." Papa Benny Hinn said he felt his hand and his keyboardist held him and said, "Be strong in the Lord. We will never leave you." 48 years has gone. That guy is still playing keyboard for one Papa Benny Hinn. These are right hand men. Listen, nobody will ever rise in life without recommendation. Hear me and hear me well. The moment you become too proud to learn, you have also become too big to be recommended. The guy, boy, is a right hand man. Give me another translation, sir. Amplified if you have. Oh, I know you don't have my NLT, but give me amplified. Let's see what an amplified. He said, who used to pour water over Elijah? He's the right hand man. Oh, give me my pigeon. Give me my pigeon. Give me my pigeon. Give me my pigeon. I'm almost done. Holy Ghost, help me there. Now, Elijah assistance be that one. Now, in better half be that. Now, in better half. In Sabi. This was the accreditation test that was passed. He said, that guy, you know Elisha. Now Elijah boy be that. When you get to him, every possibility of Elijah is found in him. Let's go. Next verse. Return back to my King James. Oh my God. Adia Velekos. Who do you look like? Who is your spiritual father? You go for an occasion, they bring food. Your spiritual father said he's fasting. You say, Papa, you're fasting. No, let me eat your own food. He's blessing. He's blessing. He's blessing. He's blessing. You know, Papa's food is a blessing. When Papa refuses to eat the food your Papa is refused to eat is a blessing to you. You're a glutton. Papa, I know you don't like this kind of food. That's why I'm always going with you. Let me eat what you cannot want. That thing you don't want is poison. You're eating poison. You're eating poison. And Jehoshaphat said, the word of the Lord is with him. Someone called me on phone one of the days and we got on praying. And after praying, he just called the sister that gave her my number. I said, who did you say that boy is again? He said, what? He said, do you know how many hours this boy was on phone praying and never blinked an eye? One of the times someone was in cancer stage 4. And was in coma and all that. And I asked the Lord, I said, how many hours with this thing do we need to go for this? He said, if you have 30 hours, the lady will be fine. I said, 30. He said, yes. I said, no problem. I got to the hotel, the hospital, and then we began to talk. When they drove me from the place I was staying to the hospital, the husband called me out and said, man of God, I know my wife is going to die, but I don't want to bury her in the field because there's no money to carry her back. So we'll just bury her. I said, no. I know you just came to bless my wife so that she can go in. But I said, no, that's not what I came for. That woman will not die. So what did you say? I said, that woman will not die. By 9, I sat down. Can you do what it takes? From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., I didn't stand up from the chair. Of course, it's practice now. I've been doing that at home. Oh, I can just wake up and feel like 18 hours. And I'll just go. I don't need to. It's not planning to. No, it's not. If you say, oh yeah, let's do 18 now. There's a slippers I used to wear. Just bring that slippers for me. We'll go. 18 hours. Now, we'll go. No, it's not one. It's not longer a story. No, it's not a story. We did 10 hours first day. 10 hours the second day. Then the people in the whole world began recovering. So the doctor now noticed that it was no longer medicine healing. They moved everybody out of that ward. Changed the word for the woman. And on the third day, meanwhile, the moment we came and raised power, the woman opened her eyes for the first time for a long moment. The husband said, her eyes is open. She said, please, I want to eat. Kai. You have not generated power. You're talking about this. They said the guy has the voice of God. Do you think you will used to drink zobo and yogurt and dry meat, and then you walk all the road, the whole street? Today I was looking for Abreba Street. To find Abreba Street took me almost 30 minutes. but you. Even Abreba by over through worry. You know the color of the house is there. You know the color of the house is there. You look for it. May the Lord give you understanding. Next verse. Oh, I just have a few minutes. He said, and Elisha said unto the king of Israel, what have I to do with you? So you know that the king of Edom, of course, has just taken the heir apparent to the throne from Ahab. And you know Ahab is Jezebel's whatever. And now the king said, I don't have anything to do with you. You have your Baal and other gods. Go to them. He said to him, I don't have a get thee to the prophets of thy father and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, no, don't say that one. For the Lord had called these three kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. Now see what the reply of the king is. Verse 14. And Elisha said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand. I don't have time, because you need to understand that he was talking to the king, and yet he was standing before who? God. I know you won't see that one. He was talking to the king, but where he was standing was not where the king was standing. There was another environment, another possibility that the guy was hosting, that the king was not aware of. He said, before the Lord whom I stand. So don't get it twisted. I'm not standing before you. I'm standing before the Lord of hosts. He said, were it not that I regard the presence of who? Who brought Jehoshaphat was the person that did the deal. They might say they are not selling again, but then when they see your face, they say, hi. Oh, we have closed shop, but because of you, let's open the shop. Who you came with matters. Who you are partnering with matters. If you are an ego and your partner is a chicken, you will end up being toro. Who you are partnering with, who is your spiritual father matters. Who you submit to matters. What he does for you matters. Your relationship with him, he said, if it's not that I regard, I respect, I value, I honor the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I will not look towards thee, nor see thee. I won't do it. You said this prayer, if not that it was you that came, I won't pray. And if you think I'm joking, ask God. I wouldn't have responded to your prayer request. I wouldn't have responded to your demand if not that I have value for the presence of the king, Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat is not a person that comes to God only when he has a need. Jehoshaphat is a man that has submitted and pledged allegiance to Elisha. The ordinances of Elisha is he salutes the status quo. So he was humble to the core, a man of value. He said, if not because of this man you came with, I would not respond. It was not about you. It was about who was standing behind you. If not for the person you came with, if not for his presence, I won't even listen to what you're saying. I would not give ear to whatsoever thing that is your problem. But you came with Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, the scepter of authority is in the house of Judah. I cannot say no to the executive order. If it came from Jehoshaphat, my tension is high. I can't pick the frequencies of the immortals. I can't pick the voice of the prophetic because I am not happy looking at you. So I will need a help. Next verse. He said, get me a minstrel. Get me a minstrel. Someone that knows how to melt the burdens of my heart. I am so vexed in the spirit because I knew what went through in the time of my boss, the Elijah and the Baals. I know how wicked Jezebel was to the clans of the prophets. I know what he did to us. My father ran and abandoned me in the desert, in the wilderness. And he said, let me die like my fathers because I'm not better than them. It was because of Jezebel. But although my spirit is vexed, although I'm in pains and my heart is burdened, but because of who you came with, because of the presence of the Jehoshaphat, because of the presence of the executive order of Israel, to whom I plead allegiance to, I can't say no. I don't want to, but I can't say no. I don't want to, but I can't say no. There is someone you can with. There is a partner that you have signed a treaty with. I did not pledge allegiance with you, but because of the person you came with, I'm already involved. My commitment and my covenant was not with you. I had a covenant with Jehoshaphat that I will make sure that the land of Israel is protected. Because of him, I will respond. Get me a minstrel. I need a sound. I need a sound. And the Bible said, when the minstrel played, the hand of the Lord came upon him. Get me a minstrel. If you can get the minstrel, then you have solved the problem. Among your hosts, do you have a minstrel? Someone that knows how to open the turbans of heaven. Get me a minstrel. Someone that understands the immortality chamber of heaven. Get me a minstrel, not a music minister, not a singer. Get me a minstrel. I'm in need of battery. The flight I have can hit the wrong way if I can hear a sound. And then, as the minstrel played, Ladia Vedekos, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. Then what happened? Verse 16, sir. And he said, thus says the Lord, make this valley full of fishes. Don't bring one, don't bring two. If the sound is right, the voice will be right. Get me a minstrel. Then you fool, get the fool, get them full. Don't allow any space. Get ditches on the moment the sound is correct, it's time for movement. He said, get them, let them feel. Make this valley feel them, fill the valley. Don't bring one, don't bring two. Make sure there is no space. He said, the miracle is this: you will not see wind, you will not see rain. He said, but the dishes will be full of water. There is something that carries the water, is the sound. He said, you shall not see the wind, neither shall you see rain, yet valley shall be filled with water that you can begin to drink. Where did the water come from when he can't see it? If there was nothing that brought it, what produced the water? If you have the right partner,
partnership in the midst of the challenges, you will have solutions. You remember Peter? You remember what they told Peter? He said, don't wash the net yet. Have you forgotten already? Oh, my people. Don't wash the net. The net is still viable to catch many fishes. Don't watch the net. It was the same thing. He said, and your cattle and your beasts, you will feed them and have many more to drink. Stand on your feet. I don't know who I came to speak with, but you need to get the right partner. You need to get involved with the person that will push you to your limits. You need it. Someone that is going to push you beyond your comfort zone. Oh, 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 oh. Have you been with someone who did not know your limits, don't even know your capacity? It might be the person you brought to sign the contract with. When they looked at the person, they lost the contract. It might be the person you said is your friend. When they said this one is your friend, you said yes, okay, they will get back to you, and they never got back to you because of the person you said is your friend. You might have lost that friendship, that opportunity. You might have lost the relationship because of the person you said you are involved with. That person, you say yes. He said you were right from beginning until the last point. It is time to conduct the verification around yourself. Do you have the right person around you? Do you have the right people around you? You came for the company job, and the last day they saw your friend, he was drunk with alcohol, taking a lot of red bottles and green bottles, and they said everything you came for was right. But the moment you mentioned that that person was your friend, that was the point we lost the trust in you. We were ready to commit to you until you told us that this person was your friend. Who is your friend? Who did you speak to that denied access to you? You almost got the access, but the moment you related yourself with a person, the gate was closed. Who did you send the text message to? And the moment you received the text message, the person blocked you. Who did you help that became the reason why you have not received help again? Who was the person you helped that after helping that person you never saw help again? Who was the last person you gave your ear to, and after you gave the person the ear, everything about your life changed? Who did you say yes to that every positive thing began to say no to you? And who did you say no to that every positive thing began to say no to you? It's time to verify. I want you to begin to think in your heart. Conduct a screening test. Conduct a screening test. Conduct a screening test.
Conduct a screening test. Conduct a screening test. Conduct a screening test. Conduct a screening test. In the name of Jesus. There is a strong prompting in my heart. Sit down. Someone has a question and I want to attend to that question. It's a female. That is a question. It's a female. I know I'm seeing a male, but the Holy Spirit is particulate about that